What's up, YouTube? We're out here on my porch in Seattle. It's springtime, the weather is gorgeous, and it's May. And for the third year in a row in my professional triathlon career, so the entirety of it, I have missed my season opener due to injury. So 2 years ago, in 2021, I was training with Lionel Sanders, and I just completely overcooked myself trying to keep up with him, totally overtrained, and couldn't really train for a while. Had to take a while to recover from that. Last year, I got it in my head that I could be competitive at 70.3 racing and try to get fit to break 4 in the mile at the same time, and got on the track and promptly hurt my Achilles, and I was out for 3 months. And so both of those I missed Oceanside. This year, January and February, I spent in Australia really working on my swim, which, side note, there are 3 more episodes of the Australian Method coming out at some point, definitely before 2025. I'm working on them. I'm just behind on everything as always. But there are 3 more episodes of the Australian Method, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, so I was in Australia working on my swim, and then I decided not to even target Oceanside this year because I was so heavily swim focused that I wanted time to come back to the US, work on my bike and run, get those back in shape after sort of taking some time to just swim. And then, so didn't do Oceanside, and then I was prepping for St. George, and if you watch my last video, you'll see that I sustained an injury in my chest, in my intercostal muscle, my ribs, and had that was 3.5 weeks ago. I'm just now getting back to swimming. I swam 4,000 yards this morning, still not really doing any intensity, just easy swimming. And I had to take a little bit of time off running as well, but I'm now back to that. But the timing was terrible. It happened 2 weeks before St. George, so come race morning, I wasn't healthy enough to I wouldn't have even been able to finish the race. So I had to pull out. So the fortunate thing is that it's not as severe an injury as either of the past 2 years. I'm already probably 95% back to training. It was just really poor timing. To go into more detail on exactly how it happened, while I was in Australia, I discovered that I was capable of swimming a lot harder than I was, and pretty much doing it every day without really taking recovery days or sort of aerobic swims. So I brought that idea back to the US, and Coach was letting me program my own swims a lot of the time because he said, hey, you did a big swim camp, you know what you're doing now. So I still had this harder is better all the time, swim as hard as possible all the time idea in my head. And I think the swim that really broke the camel's back was I was doing a whole bunch of 200s with an ankle band and big paddles. So I was just trying to add as much resistance and as much upper body isolation as possible, and I was ripping it, and I was actually feeling really good, and I didn't notice this injury during the swim. But a couple hours later, it really flared up, hurt to breathe. I thought my lung was collapsing, and I went to the doctor the next day, and they said I tore my intercostal. So that was that. Lesson potentially learned, although who knows what I will do next year to miss my season opener. Hopefully nothing. So I missed my season opener, but it's not that big of a deal. My entire year this year revolves around 70.3 Worlds in Taupo, New Zealand, which is in December. So I still have basically the entire year to get fit for that. And missing St. George doesn't really hurt my preparation for that in any way. I would have liked to race it, and it would have been a really cool race to be a part of, and I've never done that course, but that's about it. In terms of the grand scheme of the year, it's no issue. My initial plan was to switch gears and get ready for 70.3 Mont Tremblant in June, which is another Pro Series race. But Coach and I have decided that it would be better to target a few local 70.3s here first, just to get my feet wet again, because it'll have been a while since I've raced, and then really put in a big block and target 70.3 Maine at the end of July, which is not a Pro Series race. So that will hopefully allow me to actually be really competitive in that race. And I've never really raced much towards the front of a race. I don't have that experience, and I think that's going to be really valuable for me going forward. So, I maybe won't do too many Pro Series races this year, and maybe I'll target the slightly less competitive ones just so I can learn how to race towards the front of a race, because that's ultimately what's going to help me develop. I am extremely fortunate to be in a position where I guess I make a living being a YouTuber, not a professional athlete. So I didn't have to do this race and go and bank a paycheck to keep on doing this. I just have to keep making YouTube videos. So shout out to Couple.com for that. They've really kept me going over the past, honestly, it's been over 2 years that I have been representing Couple.com. So definitely go check out Couple.com. And I'm also very thankful for the support of today's sponsor, Ketone IQ. I'm very excited to announce that I have re-signed with Ketone IQ for the remainder of the year. It took me a while to really dial in exactly how I wanted to use them. At first, I was kind of just popping them all day long, before workouts, during workouts, after workouts. And as time has gone on and I've really dived into the research on how ketones are helpful, I've honed in on what I believe to be the best and the most effective way to use them. Number one, ketones are an extremely powerful recovery tool. They increase post-exercise muscle glycogen resynthesis, how quickly your body rebuilds its carbohydrate stores after a workout, by about 50%. So that is allowing you to go again much sooner than you otherwise would. And the second is as a productivity tool. When you are in ketosis, which Ketone IQ allows you to be in without being on a ketogenic diet, the brain will preferentially use ketones for fuel. I use them for video editing, I use them for coaching, I use them for podcasting. Pretty much anything that after a long day of training requires any sort of mental energy, I take ketones for, and I find them extremely effective. If you go to ketone.com/Ari, number one, it'll bring you to my landing page. Two, it will automatically apply 30% off to your first subscription order. And again, I'm very grateful to have Ketone IQ on board for the rest of 2024. Other things that are going on with me, I've had a Patreon for a while and I haven't really done anything with it. I've uploaded beats from videos onto it, which I don't really feel like is a lot that I'm offering, and I've wanted to do more. So I recorded sort of a test podcast with my friend G, and it's for free on Patreon right now. You don't have to subscribe at all. We honestly don't talk about triathlon that much. I do give a training update, but I've just found that I want to give more detail and more often than I'm able to on YouTube. And so I'm sort of exploring another platform to be able to engage more often and in much more detail. So go check that out on my Patreon. The link is in the description. And if you liked it, G and I will record more episodes. We had a good time doing it. I have been podcasting a lot lately with the Chase Pack on the Triathlon Hour, and I enjoy it. I enjoy just shooting the shit and having these conversations with people. So, I figured why not start my own Strug Pod. So leave a comment if you like it, and we will make more. I also finally released Devil Sessions 3. It is out now on Spotify, Apple Music, all of your favorite streaming platforms. Devil Sessions Volume 3 is made up of all of my favorite beats from videos over the past 2 years, which is the last time that I released anything. I'm just over 600,000 all-time streams between my two accounts, Archimedes and Ari Clow. It'd be cool to get to 1 million this year, so about 400,000 more. So get streaming, listen to my music, and yeah, that's about it with me. Glad to be back to training. And I'm excited, even though these are just local races that I'm doing, the Best in the West Triathlon and Pacific Crest Tri, and June 8th and June 16th. I'm very excited to just race again. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and peace out.